Have you ever wondered how Sasuke Uchiha was so cool and why all the girls chased after him? Except Hinata? Well, aside from his mysterious persona and his superior ninja skills, his long straight hair just made him so darn handsome. Even the 5th Mizukage herself stated that the Uchiha men were very handsome indeed. Majority of the clan members had long, straight, dark hair, and so in this video I'm going to give you a step-by-step tutorial on how to actually get the long, straight anime hair just like an Uchiha. Like this. And make sure you stay watching towards the end because, of course, training your hair like this is a process. But the last tip I'm going to give is going to bypass all those procedures and you can literally train your hair like this in like 2 seconds. So make sure you stay watching all the way towards the end to hear that bonus tip because once you hear it, you're literally going to be like, wow, this is so easy. How did I not think of this? I also forgot to mention that this tutorial is going to be with absolutely no fancy hair products that you need to buy that are super expensive. It's all going to be natural, just using 2 basic common hair tools that you should already have in your house, but nothing more than that. So it's all going to be natural. What's up everybody? My name is John. I'm a washed up TikTok star who only used to be kind of famous because of his twin brother, but now I make videos on YouTube about healthy lifestyle tips to improve self-confidence. So if that kind of stuff interests you, definitely like this video and subscribe for more videos like this. Alright, so the first step to getting the long, straight anime hair is to wash and condition your hair. When it comes to actually training your hair to a specific hairstyle that you want, it's a lot easier to actually train it if your hair is clean, conditioned, hydrated, and healthy. So depending on your hair type, that'll actually determine on how long you'll actually need to train your hair, whether it takes a matter of weeks or even months. But if your hair is very dirty, dehydrated, and full of knots, then your hair is going to take even longer to train. So regardless on whether you want to train your hair a specific way or not, you should always just keep your hair healthy and hydrated. But when you wash and condition your hair, don't use any 2-in-1s. Yes, they're cheaper and easier to use, but they're not very effective and could actually cause more damage to your hair. Spend the extra few bucks to buy a specific and quality shampoo along with a conditioner as well. As for the shampoo and conditioner that I use, I will link it down below. Me and my brother both use it, and my brother's kind of like the mini hair god of YouTube. We both really love the products. We've been using it for a while now. If you want to use the same products as the hair god, definitely go check out the link below. Moving on to step number 2 is to leave your hair a little bit damp when you hop out of the shower. When your hair is damp, that will make your hair even more easier to manipulate to the style that you want. Now obviously you don't want your hair to be soaking wet, so instead of drying your hair off completely, just dry it off to the point where it's not dripping wet anymore, so then you can actually start styling your hair to the way you want. So you just hopped out of the shower and your hair is very nice, clean, and healthy and hydrated. Then you dry your hair off, but not completely, only to a point where it's still a little bit damp, so then that will make your hair even more easier to train. Now moving on to step number 3, and that is to start styling your hair with a brush. So I said to use a brush, but you can also use a comb if you want to. Ideally though, you want to use a brush because the brush will be more effective as it covers more surface area, and also the bristles of the brush will just be a lot easier on the hair and your scalp, and so I definitely recommend the brush. I actually haven't used my hairbrush in a while and I unfortunately cannot find it, so I'll use this fine-tooth comb for now, which is also a very good in-between option as well. So if you don't want to use a comb and want the benefits of a brush but too macho to actually use one, this is a good alternative to use as a compromise. So now that you got your comb or your brush, you're just going to start combing your hair. First you want to try and get all the little knots you may have still in your hair, just so that it'll be easier to train. Then after, you want to actually start styling your hair with the comb the way you want it. Ideally you want to try and get it down, maybe cover your eye a little bit, hide your Renegon. Depending on your hair and how it naturally parts, and that depends on whether you want to fight it or not. My hair naturally parts down right here, but if you want to get it down the middle, then you have to do some extra work. Which leads me into my next step, step number 4. Step number 4 is to use a blow dryer. So with the blow dryer, you're just going to do the exact same thing you're doing with the comb, styling it the way you want, but now you're adding a little bit of heat to actually mold the style. Now you have to be careful when adding heat to your hair and using a blow dryer, because if you use it incorrectly, you could do damage to your hair. What you don't want to do is use the hot setting, because the hot is going to severely dehydrate and damage your hair. Don't use the cold setting either, because your hair needs a little bit of heat to actually mold the hairstyle. But with cold hair, you're not doing anything. Always use the warm setting. When using the blow dryer, you don't want to be using it too close, because if you do, you're going to severely damage and dehydrate your hair, even if it's just on a warm setting. So you always want to keep a good safe distance in between. So I already have the hair the way I want, so I'm not going to turn this on. But basically it should look like this. So just styling your hair the way you're originally doing it, but just going over it with a blow dryer. Simple. Now moving on to the last step, and it's not actually a step itself, but it is just to be patient. You can't just do one quick 5-minute session and expect your hair to magically transform. Just like anything else in life, you need to be doing this every day so that you can get the style that you want. The first several times you do this, your hair will fight back, but eventually, within time, your hair will slowly follow with consistency. Like I said in the beginning of the video, depending on your hair type will dictate the amount of days, weeks, or even months your hair needs to actually train for the straight hair. But in case you don't have a comb, blow dryer, or the patience to actually train your hair and you want to totally bypass all the steps I just listed right now, you still have a chance to get the straight hair that you want, just like an Uchiha, within this bonus tip, which literally takes 2 seconds, and that is to wear a beanie. Yep, I said it. It's this little thing right here. Using a beanie totally bypasses all the blow dryer sessions that you need in order to actually train your hair, and so this is just a quick little hack to use. Now I still recommend that you use at least a brush or a comb to actually straighten out your hair a little bit after the shower, and once you're done brushing it, then you place the beanie on your head. So with this tip, since you're not actually using heat to transform your hair with the blow dryer, it will take a little longer to actually mold your hair the way you want it. Instead of a quick 5-minute session with a blow dryer, you're going to want to leave a beanie on for at least an hour or two. So the pros about using a beanie to straighten your hair is that it's a lot cheaper than using a blow dryer and a lot less work since you just put it on. You don't actually have to make time for a session every day to actually style your hair with a blow dryer. With a beanie, you just totally bypass all that. You just put it on your head, leave it on for about 2 hours, and just literally set it and forget it. For the cons about wearing a beanie to straighten your hair is that you don't really have much stylish control over it. With a blow dryer, you actually style your hair the way you want it. Maybe you want to switch the part over to the other side, or you want to middle part it. But with a beanie, you kind of don't really have control over that. So if you're going to use a beanie to straighten your hair, you kind of have to settle with the way your hair naturally parts. Another con to using a beanie is that certain hair types might not be able to get away with actually doing this. If you have wavy hair and you want straight hair, then the beanie might be a good bonus tip to actually work for you. But if you have really curly hair, then the beanie is probably not going to be enough, and you're actually going to have to use a blow dryer to use the heat to actually mold your hair. Last con, it's not really a con, it's just something to keep in mind, is that you shouldn't wear the beanie for too long. When you're using a beanie to straighten your hair, it's actually just flattening it, so you should wear it for about an hour, maybe 2 hours, but not really longer than that. So if you're thinking you could just put it on and maybe sleep with it overnight, then in the morning when you get up and you take it off, your hair is just going to be like glued to your head. It's just going to be super flat because that was way too long to actually put it on. If you're someone who wants that long, straight anime haircut just like an Uchiha, then I definitely recommend at least trying out with a beanie at first. I know most people are not going to want to waste their time, using the blow dryer and all that. So this will be a little good cheat code to actually use. If it works out for you, then great. Then at least now you don't actually need to go out and buy a blow dryer, and you can just keep using the beanie for as long as you need. I really do recommend trying out the beanie first because it's something that I personally did myself. I didn't really have to blow dry my hair or anything like that because my hair kind of is naturally straight on its own. So I didn't really have to do much work, so that's why the beanie worked out for me. The beanie just helped me get those last finishing touches to actually get this long, straight Uchiha hair. So that was it for this video. I hope you learned something of value today. I hope you learned something from my mistakes to better yourself. And until then, I will see you in the next one.